So, ang gamitin nila
We're live.
kanina sa
Thank you. Welcome to Bubba.
and the Filipinas show.
And tonight we have a special guest, Elvis Costello.
Welcome,
I'm glad to
Elvis.
be here. Glad to join you, ladies. With Bubba.
Please accept his fate.
Thank
to
you
be
so
Elvis.
much to be here. No,
So how is everybody tonight?
we're
Feels great.
we're doing pretty good because we don't have a lot of work today, so we're just chilling around, watching Netflix, doing
having our
things,
cup of tea.
doing things we can't do
Isn't,
while if we're really busy during the
isn't,
weekend.
isn't Netflix great?
Yeah, it's so great.
So you can stream.
Yeah,
Every
you have a lot of
movies or-
choices.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I'm fortunate. A buddy of mine in America gave me his password and his user ID and said, "Here, bro, man, so you can watch Netflix." I'm like, "Cool."
Can
Yeah.
we have that password?
Can we also have that password, Baba?
No, you can. The way it works, you can
I'm
only have it
kidding.
on so many devices.
No, just kidding.
So,
Oh,
'cause
We
he's like, "Don't
already
give it
have
out." He's like,
we
"Don't
already
give it
have
out."
ours. Mm-hmm.
So,
Last week we watched Korean novellas.
that's something I
These
never get
Korean
into.
novellas, though, if you watch an episode, you can't stop watching another episode. I'm not sure for you guys, but
you know
that's how
any
it is.
guys that are addicted to Korean novellas?
No, may baka sila hindi.
Have you watched a Korean novella? Baba and Elvis?
No,
No,
Oh.
you didn't even try.
no.
Watch one. No. Okay.
I'm not
Then-
familiar with it either,
You're
unfortunately.
not a fan. All right.
okay. Okay.
I bet you will be.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of it either. I gotta step away for a minute and get a refill on water. So y'all talks amongst yourselves, and I will mute myself.
How about you, Baba? How are you?
How's your week?
How was your week?
I think he went to go get some water.
How about you, Gypsy? Mr. Elvis.
How will we call you?
How do you want to be called?
Mr. Elvis?
That's perfectly fine. I don't mind what you call me. I can
Let's
go
go
by
for-
various names. The kids at school, they seem to make fun of me a lot, so I have no idea what their
Why?
nickname for me is.
Why
They
would
just,
they make fun of you?
well, they tell me I look funny without my glasses on. They make fun that I have hair on my legs and arms. They hit me below the waist. You know, they really just give me a hard time, but every high five that I get from them is really nice. So I'll take it all in stride. But I haven't watched Netflix in a long time. I still have it on my other laptop. So I got divorced not too long ago, and on my laptop we had Netflix installed. And since I've been here, I haven't really done much. And I went back on it just to check and see if maybe she had changed the password, and she didn't. So I kind of emailed her and I said, "Hey, you know, just to let you know, everything is still active. You can change the password if you want. Don't worry, I'm not going to mess up your search engine." So I haven't watched Netflix in a long time.
All right. So we've heard from Baba that
How are you ladies doing?
we're doing pretty well actually.
So we had a very busy week last week. So today it's like our rest day.
So whenever we don't have a lot of patience, we slack off. We're like lazy kids. We just want to eat. We just want to watch TV. We don't have that luxury when we're working at the clinic. We're always working. And these are times that we treasure.
cherish all the time.
Yeah.
Imagine only how busy you are. I don't really know what kind of schedule you all have, but I could imagine that in a profession like that, there's always constantly introducing new techniques or new equipment, seminars to
Yeah.
go to, like you went to in China. It's something with, and I could only imagine. I commend you too, because very good thing that you're involved with, and I respect it a lot.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you
much.
for that. So it's really hard because every day you try to meet a new person, introduce yourself, and then let them feel that they are at home because you're trying to communicate to a new person every day.
So
And again,
if you want to have an idea of our normal
Normal
week
day.
or day is, we go to the clinic from 9 a.m. and then we go out until 6 p.m. So sometimes we set appointments. It's 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 like that here in the Philippines. So sometimes we don't eat lunch anymore if it's really busy. So if we're not busy, we go to seminars or we go to conventions. We try to inform ourselves of the new technology or new techniques or anything we can improve on in our profession, and then like that.
Or sometimes it's lack of.
We just read, but sometimes if we just read a lot. But sometimes if we're really not busy, we try to travel. Maybe you've watched a few of our videos. So we haven't had the chance to do
I
that
have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we travel. We Even if we travel, it's funny because we're also still busy if we travel because
Make sure it's action It's all fun.
yeah, we haven't had the chance to do that.
I definitely understand.
So tell me now, bro. I was disappointed that you don't live in a yurt.
In
New York.
Well, the interesting thing is that they have immigration officers and other government agencies to check on the living quarters of foreigners. So they really do have kind of like a strict code on how we live and how companies kind of bring us in, because I've heard a lot of horror stories, and I don't really know exactly to what level some foreigners, how bad they've been treated. But this company itself is really good. I would consider myself somewhat lucky, especially with this being my first contract, I guess you could say. But I've seen yurts, and they are very interesting. Like I think that I could find myself definitely living in one for, I could do it for 6 months maybe. There's just no, I don't know. You really have to be self-sufficient, and uh,
Yun.
the food you have to eat cannot be perishable by any means, or maybe the ideas that you hunt day by day.
Well, there's always chunky
Because
soup and Dinty more beef.
Can you ask? Can I ask something? Which
I
which
think
part of Mongolia are you at?
I am
Hello.
in I'm at the autonomous region of Inner Mongolia.
Inner
So
Mongolia.
it is
Oh.
south of the actual country itself. I think that
Uh-huh.
China helped break them free. I want to say that this was
Oh.
back in the
Okay.
13th century, or no, 13th century is when Genghis Khan
the
was
man.
leading the empire, but I don't know exactly when the empire ended. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that when it ended, that Inner Mongolia kind of maintained their sovereignty. So
All right.
I'm just a little bit south of it.
How how far is it from Ulaanbaatar? That's the only place I know in Mongolia. Inner Mongolia.
I have no idea, so I'm kind of embarrassed that I don't know too much about the area itself. I'm one of these guys that doesn't do any diligence and just kind of takes things as they go, and learn with each step. One of the other foreigner teachers, you know, she's really good. She travels every other weekend, and she has all the latest scoop and all the information. And I'm just more of this dud guy walking around with my head in the clouds, you know, not really caring.
All right. Is
So-
it like a city or something?
Yeah, so
Or-
this city, it's called Baltol, and I believe the population is around 2 million.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
really big city.
Yeah, it's
And-
funny
and
that
it's
by,
clo-
by
That's a big
Chinese
city.
by Chinese standards, that's a small city.
That's true.
What is the normal?
That yeah, 2 million people
Bubba,
rank
what is the
just
normal population in
well.
a city in
Well,
China?
2 million people in China ranks just above village. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. I agree.
Well, a big city. Well, Shanghai is the largest city in the world. That's 25 million people. Beijing,
God.
Beijing is just behind it. And then you got another city not far from Beijing, Tianjin, which is something like 14 or 15 million people or something.
Mm. So maybe it depends on the density. People
Well, I
surface area or
I
something.
think in China, once you get below 10 million people, it's like considered a medium-sized city.
Medium size.
That's just a medium size.
Yeah, well, there is 1.4 million people there, 1.2 billion, something like that. But India,
Yeah, it's a highly populated country.
yeah, but India will pass it before long. And I don't know. I've been to China briefly, and Beijing, of course. But from what I've heard about India, I would much rather, I think, live in China than live in India.
Why? What have you
What's
heard?
the difference?
What have you heard about it?
Well, India, I don't think there's really such a thing as a modern city.
Modern city.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to India, but I know people who have, and I don't know, man. Outside of the Taj Mahal, I wouldn't see why anybody, and if I got any people out there from India listening, which I highly doubt, I'm not slamming your country. I'm just saying, outside of the Taj Mahal, I don't think there's a whole lot really to see in India.
Aside from Taj Mahal.
Yeah, outside of the Taj Mahal.
Well, it's definitely a lot different living scenario than what we're accustomed to. I think my ex, she went there with her MBA course, and she said she'll never go back. And we love to travel, and of course Taj Mahal is always top of the list. And when she came back, she said, "Nope, never again. I will never step foot back in that country."
Really?
And yeah,
Why?
I think because
Bad experiences there.
right, bad experiences.
I think it's just a really
What kind?
stupid country.
I mean, is it not what she is expecting? It's different from the pictures or anything like that.
Or it's just
Or
like
well-
maybe in the city, it's different in the area where Taj Mahal is.
Well, I think like Bubba was saying that there's really not much of a modern city. Like it seems just forgive me for saying, like you say, if there's any Indian viewers out there, there's lots of the infrastructure is very low, and a lot of the people kind of respond to foreigners, and they swarm them. It's on another level. And she said that she was approached inside of her hotel, right outside of her door, from a guy that tried to grab her hand and take her away or something like that. And it was kind of traumatic for her. And for that to happen inside your hotel is kind of shocking to me, because with an MBA course, they would not take their students to a hostel or anything like that. They flew first class. They took them to a lot of a lot of fine dining places, and for a situation like that in which we are accustomed to security, you know, for something to happen to a stranger inside of a hotel, I think is kind of unnormal or not normal. But there, I think that's always something to watch out for. And even if you go to the local store or something, you really have to watch your back at all times. They went to Mumbai, Jaipur, and New Delhi. I think New Delhi is the best out of all three.
New Delhi.
I'd love to find a good deli.
Anyway, what school are you teaching at, Mr. Justin?
I am teaching
Or
at
is it
a
elementary, high school, college?
no, this is very entry level. This is my first teaching position, and I am teaching at a kindergarten.
Ah,
But the thing about it, I'm at the most prestigious kindergarten in the whole city. So the expectation for them are really high, and there was little training involved. And my boss within my first 3 weeks, no, within the first 2 weeks, I got yelled at 3 times, had my first parent complaint. It was just a catastrophe, and there was no training
why
whatsoever.
did they complain?
Honestly,
So
I have no
what
idea.
Yeah. So do they talk in local language, or you have English as the main means of communication?
No, so it's all local. This all Chinese. We have local Chinese teachers that stay with us throughout the class. Otherwise, the students would really go crazy because we're not allowed to discipline them.
Really?
Right. And
Oh.
Suck. The kids would be calling me the Fuhrer.
yeah. There's been many times where I just had to kind of. I guess the idea is you're there for 30 minutes with them each time, so you just have to deal with them for so long, and then you can leave the classroom. But I do enjoy the kids. They really are. They're really cute and adorable. They like to have fun, and they like to, like I said, they speak to you in Chinese. So I have no idea what a lot of them are saying.
Are you trying to learn Chinese now?
You know,
Do you
what's
have
funny
to,
is
or
no. So the thing about this is I got my certification through TEFL, and I did this blended learning semester where it was 100 hours online and then 20 hours in course. And our instructors said that we do not have to learn the local language. That's one of the thing. The thing is, we're hired to teach English. We're not hired to speak in their local language, and they prefer it better that we have as much English engagement as possible, because the more that happens, the more that the students are going to learn. So when I go into class every single day, I'll have kids run up to me and just say anything. I have no idea, and I wish it was that simple.
Whatever.
But what's really bad is the teachers, the local Chinese teachers don't really speak English either, which makes it very difficult to communicate, especially when I want to do a new game or something like that. It's hard to explain the rules. So I really have to keep my translator handy. But
so how many of you are foreigners?
There are 4 foreigner teachers total.
Huh?
Four.
Four teachers.
Four
How
total.
many students? How many? Go.
300.
Are you the only American?
I mean, how many students are there?
I am the only 300 students.
What does that mean, that you only have 4 friends or 3 friends?
Yeah. That is the truth. Oh my God.
That's the
That-
truth. Yeah.
You got it right.
And let me guess, they're all females too. I bet. I bet they're
no,
all females.
actually, they really value the male teacher over the female teacher. I guess because they require a high energy. I don't want to say authoritative in a way like I don't know. There's one female and then two males. And the female, she's very caring, very nurturing. She doesn't have a hardline approach when it comes to having children kind of repeat words or being having some kind of enforcing approach. If I
So
felt
are
like
you more?
well, the thing is, my approach is I'm one of these teachers that just has fun, and if you don't really learn anything, then hey, that's just how it goes. I like to yell and scream. I beat things all over the place. Yeah, Quantum Blue is right. White privilege. Yeah, it is
That's
true.
it.
Okay.
So I'm one of those teachers that gets the classes rowdy, and then the local teachers have a hard time controlling them. That's pretty much how it goes. But one of my boss, her daughter is my student, and she tests her outside of class and at home, and she says that her daughter does pretty well. That my methods are effective, and the thing is. We focus on vocabulary words at the moment because these kids are so small, which I'm used to learning through the alphabets and words that start with syllables and stuff like that. And hey, I'm not using my white privilege. I try to get in where I fit in. I can't help the system. I just take advantage of it. I guess it is. But it's like that all over the world.
What's funny? when we were in China, we can't speak straight English because they can't understand us. So when finally we stayed there for 6 days, when finally we went back home, we speak like Chinese.
Like, okay.
Sorry. Because they can understand us.
Only if you try to repeat words in slow pronunciation, it's the time that they only understand us. So when we stay there, when we go to buy,
they couldn't understand straight
to buy
English.
food or whatever in certain store.
So yeah,
right,
it's very hard.
So instead of us, trying to speak in English, we try to speak Chinese accent.
Yeah.
Right. The language barrier is very very hard to get through. Mr. Tux asked a good question. For what's my job stress level from 1 to 10? I would say that number is a little bit higher than it should because I get visitors at a moment's notice. We are subject to observing from we have so many administrators that you never know which one's going to come through, and we have webcams that the parents can tune in on at any given time. So I have all eyes. There's cameras in the hallways, every classroom.
Yeah.
So
but were you briefed of all the what you have to do of the rules? Were you briefed of of the rules the rules and the regulations that they have that if you do, it can be used against you, something like that?
Well, some of that is in the contract as far as the disciplinary actions that we can't take, but this really had no training whatsoever. My first day, I was teaching, and I have no idea. They know that I did not have I don't have any experience. I've worked with kids before. I used to be a junior golf instructor, but this has golf instructor has no academic leverage. So
No, there's a
I
white sport.
yeah. You know what? They probably looked on the
I will
resume
enroll.
and
Oh, he played golf.
got.
Hire him. He played golf.
And when my boss started yelling at me, I told her, I said, look, you knew that I have zero experience. I have zero. You haven't trained me anything. Like they take me into a closet full of toys and they say be creative, and I tell them, I said, this is not how you. It's not how you get someone started on their new job. So I said that this problem solving technique is just not working for me. And when you get hired onto a company, you don't tell the employer that you're ready to quit. And I did that 3 times. I told him, I said, I should not have worked here. I should have started off as a volunteer or done something different. Maybe I'm just not made for kids. I have no idea why you're all upset with me. Yeah, I signed the contract a long time ago.
How many years?
I notice I do better with teenagers and like late primary school. I think.
Right. I think I probably would do better that way too.
Yeah.
In college, the contract is for 1 year.
So you didn't have any observation stage or something like that?
No, they hired me on the. Well, I guess when I went through the interview, and it was a Skype interview, and they asked me three questions. They said, "Can you sing and dance? Can you have fun with children?" And something else. I'm like, yeah, this is a piece of cake. Whatever.
Sing and dance. You're auditioning or something.
What the fuck? Do I look like Michael Jackson?
These are all cameras. They have cameras all around.
Ano yan, sir?
Can you teach our students?
Reality show.
It's funny because on one of the TVs, they have these touchscreen TVs. They do have a Michael Jackson music video of black or white, and it's the old music video where like Macaulay Culkin is playing
McCartney.
the.
Didn't he do that with Paul McCartney?
I don't know.
I think he did. Know. I think that was like the early mid '80s.
Yeah, it's an old. It was an old
he did
song.
That with Paul McCartney. That's the same time period of Ebony and Ivory.
Well, I almost cried whenever I played it. Played halfway through it. I didn't finish the video. So.
Well, haven't watched that.
But yeah, that was
I was still a 3-year-old.
That was pretty much it as far as the interview process. Like I told the other foreigner teacher went through the same agency that I did, and I told her, I said, this job is nothing like the interview that we went through, and she agreed with me. She said that there's a lack of communication. And what they do, let me back up and reframe myself. I'm sorry. We had a 2-day training period, and all they did was someone from that agency that hired us on came to our city and showed us like three videos of someone teaching children, and it was the most basic videos that I've ever seen. And I pretty much just did the same thing that person did, but
what do you mean by basic?
Just having the foreigner teacher sit in front of the classroom and say, "Oh, what color is this?" and "I have a stuffed animal today," or something like that, or just it was not. It wasn't like this is how we create activities for children. This is how we improve their cognitive ability. This is how we improve their speech. It was nothing like that. So I was just completely floored when they got so upset with me. And they have this rule where they can deduct money from your salary. So if you're late,
they didn't even tell you what to do.
Yeah, it's like, they tell you what to do, and if you don't do it, or if there's an issue whatsoever, they'll deduct money from your salary. And you know what? I'm kind of indifferent about this rule because in the States, they will fire you at a moment's notice, especially in North
Yeah,
Carolina.
right
They
to
have
work
this
state.
right to work,
Yeah,
right? But really,
Really?
which means right to tenure.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
So at least this way, you know, it's more of a learning process than anything. Um,
Well,
Mm-hmm.
they
and
passed
I've
all
had
those laws to in order to keep out unions,
right.
which I'm not a huge fan of unions either. But you know, we got most of our rights as working Americans from unions. It's just unfortunately, like everything else, they got greedy.
Yeah, there is a
Yeah.
lack of benevolency within the private sector, but that is definitely a whole nother discussion.
You got that right.
But yeah, you know, my experience so far has been interesting. But my boss, we butted heads for a long time, and now we're like best friends. So I feel like I can kind of tell her anything, and she'll understand me. So that's one good thing about it.
Oh.
Is your boss Mongolian or Chinese?
Yes, she is
Or
Chinese.
she
No,
can speak well.
so her English is pretty good, so I can speak at a normal pace and use just normal words, and she will understand 90% of it.
Mhm.
But I do have a friend that lives in
No.
Beijing. He's from Canada, and he told me that he works at a training center. There's training centers all over the place here, and a lot of foreigner teachers work at training centers as part-time jobs, which is illegal for me. I can't work outside of my contract. But he said that his training center has American management, so a lot of the issues that I ran into, I definitely would not have experienced if I would have jumped on board. So, but this type of institution that I'm in, they have a lot of money, so they can bring foreigners over here. And I don't know if training centers or how big some of these training centers are to bring foreigners over, but they just try to
Mhm.
recruit as best as they can. There's more illegal teachers than there are legal teachers, and not only that, there's less legal native speaking teachers here. So that really puts me in a very fine category.
Yeah, I've heard in a lot of
Mm.
like in China and a lot of places, they'll hire you even if you just have a tourist visa. But the problem is, if you get popped, you get like 72 hours to get out of the country. And so it's kind of like if you don't have a lot of money or they've been screwing you in on your pay, then that can put you in a dicey situation.
Yeah, you're exactly
Yeah,
right.
don't
I
they
definitely
have
don't
very
want
strict
to.
To be
I'm sorry, go ahead.
too? Yeah, when we were there, they have a don't they have a very strict
policies.
policy or rules on your stay there? Like if you go over, if you overstay, you have to pay
500
a
RMB.
big fine. Yeah,
Yeah, per day.
per day. So, and they're
Yes,
all really
I've heard
strict.
a lot of people having problems.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, what were you saying again?
I was just saying that
What were you saying?
I've heard a lot of people having problems with their contracts. So whenever they have their contract filled out, that usually they just have it on the very last working day. They don't have any grace period for them to pack up their things and leave, which kind of creates an issue. So I don't know what kind of fines they have, but um, it's not like the Philippines where you can kind of negotiate your way around it. It's there is a some kind of consequence involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so have you scored?
No, I haven't. You know,
Well, somebody asked that. Can you see the chat?
Huh?
Can you-
ladies, can you see the chat?
Can you see it too, Gypsy?
I can. Yeah.
No, no, no. We're gonna open it. We're gonna
No,
open it right
there's
now.
being single here. If you don't speak Chinese, there's really no point. I mean, in even looking. But if you do speak
No point.
Chinese, then you have every option that you can think of.
Well,
Because
do they have a Starbucks there?
they do, yeah.
Go to Starbucks. You'll find English speakers there.
Well,
I did a lot of research.
Really?
And when you go to these foreign countries, a lot of women who want to meet like a Caucasian man, they will go to Starbucks and places like that where they know people like us will go because, you know, it's something from our own country. And a lot of times they can speak some English.
You do have the more affluent crowd that goes to Starbucks. There's one pretty close from here, and I guess maybe I'm just shy or something. But
You are
the only the only English that I've encountered is just the workers, and generally that's my friend base. You know, I'm always friends with people that are paid to be friends. You know, like service staff. I'm always friends with them because they have to be my friend.
They have no choice now.
Right, yeah. And then once they get to see me and understand me, we're like we grew up together.
We're like best friends after all. At the end of the day.
Yeah, and I wonder, I'm like, why can I not just go out and meet people on a regular basis? Why do I have to meet people that are paid to be friendly? But I don't know.
What are
Another thing you can do too is if there's like a university there, because a lot of university students speak English. They have to learn it in school now. In China, anyway, they start in like first or second grade. They start learning English. So a lot of times you can meet. Usually, generally speaking, a lot of people under 30 can speak English if it's in a major city.
Yeah, that is a good point. But one thing is that we're very far away from any kind of major city. So I think the more southern regions of China, you're going to find a lot more English speakers. But here in Baotou, there's really not. Baotou.
Trying to help you score, brother.
I know, man. Well, I've almost given up. Even so, listen to this story. My
almost gave up.
I'm gonna make my duty.
So the gossip runs very thick within our school, and there's a golf course nearby. So I went to the golf course and I took some practice swings. Someone took a video of me. People take videos of me all the time. And I requested that they send that video. So I sent that to my boss, and just to say, hey, you know, I feel very comfortable here. I like the city. Just kind of giving her some positive reinforcement for hiring me. And she sent that video to my principal, and the principal said, "Oh, he's so cool. Do you think he would be interested in marrying a Chinese girl?" And, you know, which kind of floored me because I guess I'm not used to that type of, we would say a little unprofessional maybe, but I told my boss, I said, you know, I need to stay focused on my job because look, you know, you guys are putting a lot of stress on me. And she said, oh no, you need to be in a relationship. It's very easy to find a girlfriend here.
See, look at that. Oh. He's trying to give you a great moment in hookup history.
Man, she is, and I kind of give her credit to one degree, but it makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
Oh, don't be so American.
Yeah.
I think there was
Yeah.
a video of one of the Chinese
Yeah.
vloggers, Lao Wai. He mentioned the working culture, which I didn't watch it, but the thumbnail says, "My female boss made out with me," and I can definitely see that now. Like,
Wait, is your boss
which
married?
my boss is, but I don't really know about. So we have, like I said, there's many administrators. I think the one that mentioned or asked that question if I would be interested, I think that she's married, but we do have the general principal, which is kind of like the head boss, and she lives within the same building here with me. And she's really pretty too, and she's single. Um, and I've been trying to weasel my way into
That's what I'm
getting to
talking
know her a little bit more, but a lot of the local teachers don't like her because she's the one that walks around and really takes pictures of everything and demands, you know, a top-notch facility. So they make their teachers work really hard. So she's not the most favored, but I don't care.
Yeah, she could be on top. Who cares?
So yeah, that's kind of but the other foreigner teachers, the two guys that are here, they have girlfriends all the time. Like it's nothing for
All
them.
the time.
Man whores.
Yeah, well, I guess China does have like a lot of single women here, and one of the guys says that even the girls have many boyfriends, like, and they're okay with it. I don't really understand completely, so I might be a little off base, but yeah, it's nothing for them to play the field and be very active.
You have a vast vocabulary, Baba.
What's that?
You have a vast vocabulary.
I have a
All
very
answers.
extensive
Slang.
vocabulary. Oh yeah, slang. Oh yeah. Yeah, but see, he's American, so when I say these terms, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I see it clearly.
So
That's another thing that I have to do is I have to change my speech because I've been told that I use a lot of slang at times. So I have to really use more common words in my vocabulary, my normal speech. Because I get that all the time is we don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase the sentence. But my biggest struggle is working with the other foreigner teacher that's from England. Man, I don't really get annoyed a lot, but I just can't take it.
The English can have that effect on people.
Why?
So
Why?
I bought
Where do you get
I bought I don't know why the speech just gets to me, but for some reason, like I don't know why. So I bought a new pair of shoes, right? We would call them shoes, sneakers, whatever, but she calls them trainers. And I'm like, she was like, yeah, those are nice trainers, and it just kind of throws me off. Or whenever they say, whenever she says three, she says like free, like the FREE instead of three, the THREE. And these are little things, you know, that make me look like a complete asshole. But
And then instead of truck, it's lorry.
Yeah. I would have just backed off.
You can't do anything about it.
right, so I mean,
I think it's What?
I let it slide. I don't let my my thoughts surface or anything. But that type of aggravation does happen, unfortunately. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I expect I expect her to speak on my level. Which is not funny.
Okay.
Well, It's
Yeah.
it's funny though because I know a lot of Aussies can't stand the English. Uh,
American English.
well, no, a lot of Aussies can't stand the English, but from England, the Brits.
Ah, I see. I see.
A lot of Aussies don't like them.
Why?
Hmm.
Well, Australia was started out as like a penal colony
Mm-hmm.
by England. England sent convicts there. Yeah, but you know they did that to a lot of countries. That's like Trinidad has a large Indian population, people of Indian descent, because the British, when they were, you know, had all these colonies,
Ah,
they sent a lot of the Indians there to work. It's almost slave labor in a nutshell.
Hmm?
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, so you know, and that's how. Well, yeah, the Jamestown settlement. I don't know how that started, but you know, they came from England too. And then, of course, you had the Puritans, but the Puritans were escaping religious persecution. So
Actually.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Popeye could fill us in on that. He's from that
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't know anything
that's
about
this is a topic I definitely want to become more knowledgeable about. But for some reason, well, not for
history.
some reason, I've had
Mm-hmm.
my head stuck in my armpit forever. So history's not my friend.
area. Okay, so let me ask you this: you've been. I know you've been to the Philippines here, correct?
Yes, yes, I lived there for a year and a half. That's correct.
Okay, now what are some of the similarities you see between the culture there and the culture here?
In China,
Besides, people
a
can't
lot of
drive.
rice. A lot of rice. They eat rice so much.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Sorry.
know who eats more rice, but when I was in the Philippines, I never really ate rice, and a lot of people thought that I was crazy for doing that. But here, the school served lunch and dinner, and they load us down. And I mean, I hate to throw it away, so I just eat it all. And man,
Yeah.
that's definitely one of the most common similarities is the amount of
Yeah.
rice that they eat.
The food lang.
But like I said, I've only ventured to very small sections, so I might not have the best idea on
Mm-hmm.
how the Philippines kind of compares to China in the cultural sense. Oh, karaoke. They love to sing. Wow.
They love it there too.
Wow. Man. They have
Wow.
this thing called KTV.
Medyo probinsya
Um,
din kayo.
What is it with Asia and karaoke, man? I don't get it because in America we hardly do that.
you know,
It's
the-
rather behind karaoke.
I don't know. It's just fun when a friend of yours sings and couldn't get it.
Should make fun of it.
and
You know,
I mean, like part of our culture. But
Yeah.
I used to sing a lot of karaoke, but nowadays we don't
know-
anymore.
You know, in America, you do that. You're liable to have people throwing beer bottles at you if you're not a good singer.
right, and usually karaoke really brings out a certain type of crowd. That's why they only hold it one night a week. So they can reach a more different demographic. But they with KTV here, the locals that I go to, they always want me to sing, and I tell them, I warn them, but
Did
they
they
don't
also
listen.
take a video of you singing?
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna find it.
Oh, you know what?
YouTube channel.
You know what? No, I will not put that on my YouTube channel. But let me find my
Barely
phone.
able to stand and trying to sing.
So I do have a clip. I do have a clip that when I was out with one of the local teachers, I was there with her friend, and I didn't realize that her friend is also friends with my boss. So my boss sent me a video of me singing in a karaoke place, and I'm like, how did you get this? There was no one here taking a video to my knowledge, but yet you
You have
have
a lot
video
of
of me singing.
paparazzi there, huh? You're like a local celebrity.
You're a rock star, bro.
Well, to be honest,
What did you sing?
I've had people buy my dinner a few times just so like they can practice their English and whatever.
Oh,
If I go out, I can add probably 10 to 15 people on my WeChat. Okay, here's, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I'm on WeChat.
All right, so there's the clip, and I'm gonna play it for you. It's Justin Timberlake, because I've gotta represent. I'm on the board of trustees of the Department of Justice.
Are you really? You a big Justin Timberlake fan?
Well, that's the best one that we have. That's the best Justin that we have on staff.
Is that a song or
Yeah, it's
random?
it's a song. Could you guys hear it? Could you all hear it?
Vaguely.
No.
I want to hear you. I want to hear you sing
No.
Rawhide.
Usually I keep my voice exclusive to the students because they don't know any better anyways. But I feel bad for the local teachers that are in the room with me.
I feel bad.
But every time I sing, they always grab the microphone from me and they say, please don't do that again.
That's your last time.
Right.
At least it didn't turn into like the Blues Brothers.
I don't know them.
Oh,
They're from another decade.
Jeff, you've seen that movie, right?
It's been a long time.
When they're singing Rawhide in the barn, they're like, "What's the fence for?" Oh, you'll see. And all they did all night was play Rawhide, and people were throwing beer bottles at them.
Well, that's probably my style of singing versus what they do. They sing a lot of love songs, and that's another thing. Another similarity is they love love songs. They love love stories, and they're emotional type people in a way. The little that I've gotten to know them, they can be emotional. So
yeah,
versus
I would think you'd be hearing something like Metallica's Disposable Heroes or My Apocalypse or something like that.
You know what? They also love rock and roll, like the 80s hairband style rock.
Oh, really?
They do. Yeah, they do.
Poison. Every rose has its thorn. There you go. That'd be an easy song to sing.
I'm kind of embarrassed
Nice,
that
Bubba.
I don't know who sings this. Better Man.
From another decade, Baba.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, we don't know.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
We don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's been interesting living here.
No, well, at least you can get YouTube, and you could be on Facebook there.
Yeah.
With my VPN, that's the only way. That's the only way.
Oh, okay. So
VPN. Yeah.
Oh, so which
without. Go ahead.
Is it a good VPN? I guess.
Or? I use Express, and I hook up to the Tokyo location. So it's I either hook up to Tokyo location or Los Angeles, and those are pretty stable connections.
How much do you pay a month for your VPN?
I bought a yearly subscription. Maybe it was like $100. I don't know exactly.
Mm-mm.
With cows.
Okay, not bad.
No, not bad at all, and it's a must. And when I first came here, I have it hooked up on my two laptops, and I told myself that I wasn't going to hook it up on my cell phone because I find that to be a distraction. I want to be, in the moment, and I don't want to be the one that's constantly on their phone. But I broke down, and I had to put it on my phone because. Uh, the only search engine is Microsoft
Baidu.
Edge,
Ah,
Sorry.
diba?
and it's terrible.
True. We suffered for about a week. Only 9 gag
Yes,
work.
Yeah, it's amazing because they don't have other social medias, but when I tried to search for 9gag,
It's the only
they do
thing.
have 9gag there. We
what
didn't
what
have
is
VPN. What?
what is
9gag?
nine God?
You
Oh,
don't know?
I don't either. What is that?
hindi nila alam.
Oh, sorry.
What? It's like a website for a lot of memes and videos.
The jokes and
Jo-
stuff,
Everything.
Ah,
everything like that.
I
So they
see.
don't have Facebook. We don't have VPN, but yeah,
So
we
yeah.
survived. It
Yeah,
was a
you were able
peaceful.
to get your fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Baidu,
Baidu and WeChat to
Baidu
survive.
WeChat. Oh,
They also have Airbnb there. You don't have to have a VPN for Airbnb, which I find a little strange.
Mm.
mm.
Hmm.
Oh, prior.
Which that would have came in handy because I had to turn in my passport to immigration so that they can legalize my status. And during that time, some of the locals invited me to go to Beijing with them. So I thought it was a good idea. I was like, yeah, yeah, I'll go to Beijing. And since they arranged everything, I didn't realize that I was going to need my passport. Um, even as a guest, and every hotel turned me away. Um, so I had to sleep in a car in sub-zero temperatures
Oh
Oh my
God!
god.
Sleeping in the
while
car.
they slept inside. But it made for a good experience. Just it got me to realize that I need to have my passport if I go to Beijing or if I go anywhere for that matter.
Anywhere
You
in
really
China.
can't do anything without it
All
anywhere.
transactions that
Yeah,
we
you gotta
have.
have a passport to do anything in China. I mean, hotel wise, and even then, a lot of hotels in a lot of the
They
smaller
have the right
cities.
to turn you away.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I mean anywhere in a foreign country, don't you always kind of bring your passport
It,
with
well,
Well,
Canada, you don't. Well, we don't anyway.
just in case?
uh,
Mm,
I guess because I had my work permit, and I thought that
mm,
that kind of
That
superseded
suffice.
mm-hmm.
uh, the passport document. And in the States, they kind of advise you not to carry it around with you a lot, as much as you can. They say leave that in your personal space because the threat of losing it or someone stealing it, the hassle of getting it back is hard. And I guess I just had that thought in my mind, and I figured that I would be amongst the crowd, like it was a group of like 7 or 8 of us. So I thought that I could just hide amongst them and sleep in the bed. But no, they had to inspect everybody, and we even went to the local police to see if I could get a temporary certificate, and they wouldn't even touch me. They're like, "Get out of my office. We don't even want to see you here."
Mm,
That's how strict they are.
yeah, that's how, when we were
Yeah.
there. They had random checks
Yeah,
for,
we
for our
encountered a
passport
random check in our passport.
when we were walking through the
Train
train
station.
station.
So they
Maybe
asked
we don't
for
look like
we don't look
Chinese.
Chinese.
Good thing we always bring our passport with us, and we always have a photocopy
Everything.
spare of everything in a Ziploc or anything like that in our baggage. Because we were
Yeah,
when we were there, we purchased machines,
Yeah.
materials. So Just
Yeah,
in
I
case.
had a picture of my passport too, but they didn't accept it.
Ah,
They needed the actual book.
The original passport.
Damn, that
The
sucks.
original one.
the original one.
Yep.
Hmm.
So what they did was they took the sheets off of the bed that I would have slept in, and they took it down to
Hmm.
the car, uh, and I was able to kind of cuddle up and stay a little warm until about 3 a.m. I woke up and I was like, "Ooh, it's a little chilly now," but I had a lot of clothes on me, so
How many layers did you wear?
at
I
least three.
I heard.
Because when we were there, it's just around maybe 11 to 16 degrees, and my gosh, I was dying of
Oh.
cold. I'm not sure. I'm just used to this warm weather here in the Philippines. So if it's already 16, it's already too
Too cold
too
for
cold
us.
for me.
I think we're wearing 3 layers and then we're still freezing cold there.
I
Yeah,
can't
I could
imagine.
imagine. Yeah, I
Especially
could imagine.
if you're used to this kind of summer heat.
Oh,
And that's one thing is now that it's getting a little bit warmer, I'm still not really all that hot, but everyone around here is like making a big deal about it. And I'm like, guys, I don't think you realize how hot it is in other places of the world. Like I've dealt with a lot worse, and I would say I lived in the Philippines around 2015, and even in North Carolina, the summers can get very humid. So I've
Mhm.
always been accustomed to that weather, and this is very easy for me to deal with.
oh
Mm.
yeah, that's like Florida summers, man, are scorching.
Yeah.
17 na.
That's
So,
true.
Mhm.
oh.
Where did you ladies go to in China?
We went to
I know Guangzhou.
Guangzhou, yeah. Uh,
We
actually,
attended.
we it's the first time that we've been to a country that's almost 90% non-English speaking people. So when we
Okay.
were there, we didn't have any. We researched in the internet how to get around, but when we were there,
All the
we had
signs.
a difficulty acquiring a connection
Yeah.
because we didn't have. I mean,
We have a VPN, but it's blocked.
we have a VPN, but somehow it got blocked, and we don't know any technical ways on how to figure that thing out. So,
It
or
was it a free VPN?
no. We don't have a free V.
Paid.
I'm not sure if. Do you have that there?
Well, you can download free VPNs, but they're not guaranteed to
Oh,
work.
yeah.
What do you call this? They detect it and then they block it.
The moment that I connected to the internet,
She
after
tried,
a few hours,
it
it
got
was
blocked.
blocked. So,
Wow.
So yeah, and the map and all the maps that we have acquired are all in Chinese
Chinese.
alphabet,
Oh
and
my
and
God.
all the buses. We don't know the bus numbers, where it ends, where it goes.
So we just rely on
So
GPS.
we relied on
GPS. So
GPS,
we
and
just see on
the
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 map.
train the train stations are really efficient.
Really good.
So that's what helped us the most. Yeah, it's a different experience, but
It's
it's fun. It
intimidating.
was fun, huh?
It's intimidating to travel in China because of the characters that they use. They don't
Yeah, yeah.
use the
But some,
Roman alphabet
yeah, they don't.
or any kind of intelligible scripts. I mean, it's so hard to really understand anything. But
There's
here they
no
have.
English translations on their signage on the road. So all are in Chinese script. So so it's very hard for us. We just walk around and find our way. Try to ask people where's the nearest bus station or train stop. And
Did you get
GPS helps a lot.
scanned?
Huh?
Did you get scanned while you were there?
Scanned?
Scammed.
Scanned.
Yeah,
We got,
we were. We
we were scammed on our
we were
first
scammed.
ride.
Because
on taxi.
when we rode the taxi, it was actually just 13 RMB, but he
Charge
said
at
it's
30.
30. So we were, intimidated because just like you said, it's like a foreign country, so they can do, and we can't understand that. And then we figured out how to look at the meter, so they can't scam us anymore. And then we went to this convention, and we were buying
A lot.
products, German, produced by German or uh, any Korean companies, but
Air
it
manufacturer.
was actually fake. So they told us it was the manufacturing date, but it was actually the expiration
Expiration
date.
date.
When we went home, it's not working.
Oh my
The
goodness.
stuff that we bought were already expired. Not a lot, but that would happen, and we weren't informed, or we weren't
Because we cannot read the
clear
label.
about that. We couldn't read the label, and some of the stuff that we bought are actually repacked, or I'm not sure if they're fake, but they're different. They are really different quality, so we can't use them anymore.
You're exactly right. I've before I came, I made a conscious decision to buy everything I possibly need, because when I'm here, I don't want to purchase anything of value because I'm not guaranteed to get good quality.
Yeah, yeah,
But you
exactly.
mentioned you didn't really know what you were purchasing. This right here is
Mhm.
like a ginger candy or something, and I thought that it would be
Mhm.
good because the color is
Yeah.
pink, and pink is my color.
Oh.
But this is the worst tasting stuff I've ever had.
Why? Is it not ginger?
It's ginger, but it's like it's
Only
too
ginger.
ginger. It's very spicy. Where this made me cry, like
Probably
and I
it's just a
can.
colored ginger. Pink colored ginger.
He was looking for a
It's
ginger candy.
it's hard
Oh.
to. I even let my boss have it, and she had to spit it out. And I said, "Oh no, these are for you. This is my gift to you. Please take these." But I'm telling you, like it's almost like they get spicier the more they stay in your mouth, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
whoever eats this,
we
I
were,
don't know.
we have a concept that a lot of the products from all over the world are manufactured in China because they have a really cheap, what do you call this, labor. So
Right?
when we saw those branded products with only a little bit of the Chinese information at the back, we bought them. We actually bought them in bulk. So now we can't use them because
Or
they have a different, what do you call this, handling.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
they have a different handling, yeah, specifications that we're not
we're not able to
satisfied.
read
Yeah, so the
instructions.
next time that we're gonna go there, we're not gonna buy perishable goods or products. We're only gonna buy
Equipment.
equipment, instruments, not big equipments, because
There's no warranty.
there's no warranty and everything like that. So
Yeah, there's no
I don't have
quality
any
assurance.
prejudice, but just to be sure,
And based on our experience.
yeah, just to be sure. Yeah, but do you really enjoy going around Guangzhou, in the city, in the temple?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard that that's a really nice city to visit.
Shenzhen's supposed to be really nice too. Shenzhen's a tier one city.
Near
Mm.
Guangzhou.
Mm. We weren't able to go there because
We don't have money. At that time.
we already
We
have
lost
now.
all our money. And our last dollar.
No, because we satisfied their purpose when we went there. We bought the equipments, the products, and everything, and then just the
Side
side trips.
on our last day.
We went to the Canton Tower.
temples,
We ate a lot.
a lot of street food.
That's what we enjoyed.
And you created some nice videos too while you were at it.
That's just a side.
Yeah,
Side trip.
definitely. Speaking of which, Louis, you need to do some cooking videos.
Yeah, she needs to.
You got the personality, and I know you would do well.
She's really good at cooking.
At Ken's kitchen. I need to borrow her kitchen.
I'm only gonna eat food. I'm gonna wash the dishes. That's the deal. She's gonna cook, I'm gonna wash the dishes.
Probably sa Cavite. Maganda
Sige,
kitchen.
sige.
We'll try.
How
I would watch
about
it.
you, Baba? Do you cook, Mr. Justin?
I made dinner tonight. I made macaroni and cheese with corned beef.
Wow.
Oh,
How
you
about
don't
Mr.
have
Justin?
vegetables.
Do you cook?
No, because the school provides lunch and dinner, and I really have no idea what I eat at times. But I do buy vegetables.
And
Do
Ken,
they
I
serve
gotta buy what you eat.
dumplings?
Yes, yes. Dumplings are really
I
good.
miss Chinese food.
Oh, you
Shrimp dumplings.
We share a kitchen where I'm at, and I just don't feel comfortable cooking in that kitchen.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not used to these
Is
big
this
pots and.
Is this a house provided by your university or I mean the
It looks
school?
like an apartment building, isn't it? Is it kind of like an apartment building or something?
Yeah, they do
It
have
almost looks like a
apartments.
dormitory.
Right, that it is a dormitory. That's the official classification of it, dormitory.
Mhm.
But it's the
Real
the
antiseptic
owner
look.
of the school, they own it. It's theirs, and only local teachers, or not local teachers, but only teachers live here. But the foreigner teachers are the only ones that have the room to themselves. The local teachers have to share the room, and sometimes they share it with maybe 4 or 6 people per room. And I've peeked my head in there one time, and it's tight. You know, it can be. There's no privacy, so.
Man, isn't it great having white privilege?
Yeah, well, I get, this, unfortunately,
There.
this does go along with the unflattering birthrights, unfortunately.
The color of your skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what though? I wouldn't complain about that because I wouldn't want to live with a bunch of people I don't know.
Yeah.
Or 10 Shades.
Well, that drama. I mean, God knows what else.
Right. But the worst, I wouldn't say that this is the worst part because it's actually kind of a good thing, is that I'm surrounded by all the female teachers. Like I'm sharing this building with about 20 females. So at least I can say if I do happen to strike up a conversation, it's probably going to be within a short distance. I don't have to go anywhere or worry about staying at someone's house or
Yeah, you don't have to worry about drinking too much and having to drive. You just
Right.
crawl to your room. Whatever.
Wrong.
Yeah. That's not a
So-
bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing, but I guess in my case, because I still feel very shy of speaking with them. I'm not shy speaking with the teachers that I'm teaching with directly. But I guess any conversation beyond like hello, how are you, it gets kind of tough. So if I don't have my translator there, there's really no hope. And even so, like I said, the gossip runs thick, and I definitely don't want to cause any issues. My boss told me specifically that not to hook up with any of the teachers. which there's been violations. So
yeah.
I don't know.
So that's more professional.
Well, that could make work really tough too if there's stress in a relationship.
Yeah.
And you gotta work too.
That's what they say. Don't shit where you eat.
Exactly. Good one. Good one.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or we say don't shit in your own backyard.
You know, Ken, that's the most colorful that I've seen you.
Mm-hmm. What?
I said that's the most colorful I've ever heard from you. Using any kind of profanity. Welcome.
Thank you.
That's funny.
I have a lot more to say. But
please do.
You're the star here.
So now, how far are you from the Mongolian border?
I'm not too far, I think. It could be just maybe like a two-hour train ride, I believe.
Okay. You're probably not. Well, you're obviously not far from Russia then either. If you wanted to take a little trip.
I would have to skip across Mongolia to get to the Russian border, but Inner Mongolia is I think rather thin. It's long and thin, moving from like east to west, and so going north to south doesn't really take much time.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good sized country though, actually.
Yeah, it stretches. I think the western side you can get to Russia, like where the Black Sea is and stuff like that. I think I don't know for sure.
It also runs at a small little stretch of it too, connects with Kazakhstan.
Right. That's correct.
So
yeah.
But there is like a Russian style province nearby and within the city where you go and it's all like Russian architecture and stuff like that. So they and I think that part of town they have like the trilingual how could I say writings and stuff. So where I'm at, they have the Chinese characters and then they have Inner Mongolian characters. But I think during or in those locations, they have Russian, Chinese, and Inner Mongolian. So
yeah, it's but yeah, that's a very interesting location though, because I know. Like Mongolia is really sparsely populated, if I'm not mistaken, and most of the Chinese population live on the east or in the south. Like, I don't think in central China there's really a whole lot of people.
No, that's where more of the natural settings are, and Inner Mongolia is just it's a big desert, really. I mean, they have the grasslands, but from my observation, I live in a city in the middle of the desert, and the amount of dust that comes through here is just way too much.
Phenomenal.
Way too. I've had more nosebleeds than I have had in my whole life.
Because of the dust or because of the weather in general?
The dust, I would say, but I wouldn't be surprised if the weather kind of played a factor into it because you're constantly blowing your nose. Unless you have a mask on the whole time.
You have to purchase your own mask, if that's the case.
Yeah. So this is my mask.
N95 with an air filter.
Right, yeah.
Is it also dense in the air? Is the air also dense in particulate matter, like pollution and smoke or anything other than the dust?
Yes. So in the wintertime, the pollution does get really bad. You can check on the
Wind?
Was it AQI?
Yeah,
Air quality index. Well, I've seen some horrific numbers, very close to Beijing style, and
Oh God.
because they have coal
Oh,
plants all over the place. You know, you can walk down the street, look up, and you'll see a coal plant just spewing out emissions.
oh
It's
Bad.
no.
usually, yeah, usually they always keep those type of plants away from populated places, from my understanding. But
Mm-hmm.
here, no, I mean that's just a part of their
It looks like Pittsburgh without the football team.
I guess so. I guess so. You're right.
Pittsburgh used to look like in early '70s, mid '70s.
Like the industrial style.
Yeah, back when there was jobs in America,
Yeah.
Back,
and
back then.
you can make a good living.
But yeah, I don't regret moving here. I like this city in a lot of ways because it is rather modern, in a lot of lively parts of town. But the area that I live in is pretty affluent. Like there's a lot of high rises nearby, and these are brand new high rises. Not like commercial buildings or anything like that, apartment condo style buildings. But they have streets lit up at night. They have a lot of parks. So many parks here. It is unreal. I would probably
Oh,
say at least I would think 10 parks. Like, and these are huge
wow.
style parks. These aren't like the Legazpi Park or I don't know any other park in the Philippines. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but they like you can walk and people get on their bikes and they go for a long time. So I have my longboard here, so uh, they have these side streets too. Like instead of having your two lane roads or 4 lane roads, they have their 4 lane roads, and then they have these little side streets that kind of act as a way to the parking lots of a lot of these establishments. So what I like to do, and what a lot of other people on little motorcycles like to do, is just ride down these little streets beside the main roads, and it's nice. You know, I can really make some cover some distance.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
Well,
Very different here.
It's very different.
at least you don't have to worry about Mongolia capsizing.
What's that?
Well, the Philippines is a bunch of islands, so if people get
oh
too many
yeah.
people get on one side of the island could capsize.
Yeah,
Outside.
I don't think there's going to be any sinkholes or anything threatening like that.
Did you see a video I posted on our page? It was
Uh,
this congressman. Okay, he was questioning this U.S. admiral, and he was scared that Guam, because it's such a small island, there might be too many people on Guam and it might capsize.
oh, I know what you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how that admiral sat there with a straight face.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Really? Where?
people
Wow.
act. This guy was a Democratic congressman from Georgia, but the people in his district must be utter morons.
Yeah, I don't know how they vote these people in.
I don't either. Up to Guam capsize. Oh.
Because these are bold claims that they're making, and or they say them with authority, but there's absolutely no validity to their comments. I mean, to have an island like that capsize,
Yeah, capsize.
I don't know.
That only happens to a boat.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm like, people actually vote for these idiots. So
Oh.
I did make another post too on our page. You'll have to look at it. I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
When the car you used to draw in kindergarten pulls up on you.
Oh God, I could
Well,
only
when you
imagine.
say capsize, when the boat overturns because of the water.
The current, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah.
Capsize.
We we took a little ferry from when we went to Kemigen, from the main island to the small island called Montague Island. And I
Hmm.
thought that the boat was going to capsize because it was during a storm, and I like every time the boat dipped down, there was a huge amount of
Wave.
water just splashing on us,
Mm.
and it was throwing us around a
Where?
lot. And come again.
Come again. Okay. What time did you go there? In what season? Was it
Uh,
in the afternoon
it was in the
where the waves
afternoon.
are?
Yeah,
Mm. Okay, I
yeah.
get it.
I can't tell you what time of the year it was because it all looks the same to me.
Mhm.
You know,
The
usually we can
current is
kind of
always stronger in the afternoons.
yeah, and that's probably why we were the only ones on the boat, the only ones waiting, and it seemed like everyone was already there. We were like the last ones
Uh-huh.
to go, but coming back wasn't bad. It was okay. It was still fun.
Oh, so you went around here in the Philippines when you were here for a year and a half,
Right. So I
or were
went
you
to
working?
no, my ex-wife, she was working, but even so, we were able to take a lot of she has a lot of time off, a lot of paid
Mhm.
time off, so we were able to work around her schedule and visit let's see, we went to Ifugao, Belair, we went to Cagbalete
Wow,
Island,
you
um,
went to more places than us.
Kemigen,
Mhm.
Boracay, of course. There's probably there might be a another place or two. I'm not exactly sure, but
Palawan.
she went to Palawan. I wasn't able to make that trip. That was
Ah,
after I moved.
okay. Did you like it?
But
Did you like it to go? Did you like it on the places that you did that you
oh, yeah, I could have. You know, I can understand the history behind everything in the Philippines. I see things a lot more clearly because the country itself is so beautiful, it's so exciting. There's so much to
went?
do. The culture is so rich. The people are so nice and fantastic in a lot of ways, and you know, it's hard not to fall in love with the place. And um, I think that we both made the comment that if we could live here, we could live there long term. You know, and with us, you know, with us being divorced now, I don't think that her decision would change. So it really struck us in a lot of different ways. I would almost say that it changed I don't want to say it changed my life because that kind of sounds corny, but you know, it just kind of alters the way I thought about things. It kind of
Mhm.
challenged a lot of my personal views, and um,
Mhm.
it was it's a fantastic place for a lot of people. But um, I did encounter I guess you would say people that I try to stay away from, like foreigners that I try to stay away from. I noticed that um,
This is what Baba said. He likes to stay away from people like him. The most common comment that Baba always says.
Yeah.
Stay away from the same people that.
Yeah, trying to stay away from toxic people.
So you're also.
What?
You say that you're also toxic.
No, I'm not toxic, but you know, you're right. You know, I've met some expats here who were really, really nice, but I've met others who were just grease fires.
You just wonder. You wonder how they got there, how they're continuing to live there, and to what degree, what their standard of life is, and what kind of activities they involve themselves in. I don't know. It's so I guess you could say that I saw heaven and I saw the gates of hell all within a short short distance.
So now,
Yeah.
were you married? You were married in the States?
Yes, we did get married in the States. That's correct.
Was she American?
No, she is Romanian, and
Oh,
you know, at first, I guess from the very beginning, it kind of created some issues because um, her family is not traditional, but she still felt the need to not be forthcoming with everything, I guess, because they were afraid to see their daughter go to a foreign country. And the second time, you know, they were probably thinking like, you know, oh, what the hell, you know, my daughter's leaving me again. And maybe she didn't want to upset them by telling them that she was getting married so soon. So from the beginning, there were some issues about marrying her. I'm sorry.
So soon? Why is she young or you met?
Well,
Just met.
she was 20.
You don't mind.
Yeah, I was 23, so she was 21 at the time. And it was kind of rushed because the States, she got a accounting degree from back home from Romania, but the U.S. doesn't recognize it, so she had to go through the process all over again. And starting out at a community college, she would have to pay out of state tuition, which is absolutely insane. It's almost like paying for university classes. So we went ahead and made a decision to get married because, I mean, that's pretty much the sole purpose of her coming here, was to continue the relationship on a more serious matter. And yeah, we made that jump pretty early on, and I'm not gonna, you know, I learned a lot. I'm very, very thankful for having those 10 years. I think that only the last 2 maybe were somewhat questionable of happiness, but overall, I could not have found someone better to be with, and or I say that at least because maybe I haven't found anyone better, but I think if someone, for people that would know her personally, they would say that she's really a special individual. So I consider myself lucky in a lot of ways, and I probably wouldn't be the person that I am without her. Actually, I know that I wouldn't, because my family, they really didn't value higher education. And honestly, I really didn't give them any kind of incentive to support me, because I kind of grew up with some family issues, and I didn't see the value in looking ahead in the future and stuff like that. So whenever it came time to really settle down and start to look into getting an education, they were like, "Are you serious? Come on now, you don't want to do that. College isn't made for everybody." But when she came into the picture, she said, no, this is not the way you need to support your children. So I almost kind of went against my family's feelings, and we both kind of created this life on our own without her family and without my family. So we definitely were a team in a lot of ways, but um, life went from being very simple, which is what we wanted, to being very busy, very complicated, and we
Mm.
we were able to succeed so much together that we didn't work on our own issues before we realized it was too late. Because uh, after they transferred her from Manila, she was transferred to Dublin, Ireland, and that's
Oh,
when
that's
Guinness.
right, yeah, I do miss Dublin, but I went when I moved to Dublin because I was living back in the States due to some family issues and other things. Um, when I went there, we both kind of decided that this was the end of our relationship and what was the best way we could do to move forward. Um, and we both signed up for this TEFL teaching certification. She has it too, but unfortunately, she's not a native speaker, and she knows more about the language than I do, which
Dublin
is unfortunate.
German.
It's unfortunate because she's not going to be able to have the opportunities that I would have being a native. So, and she
Mm.
deserves she deserves everything she has. So
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. At least it doesn't sound like there's any malice between you two or any
no,
animosity.
but I told her that I'm still unclear of why we didn't work on our relationship now that we've got all of the education out of the way because she went and got her master's degree and stuff like that. So now it was just work for us. It wasn't work, school, work, and whatever else was on top of things. So I was a little upset that she was able to end it so soon, and I told her that maybe it's just best if we don't communicate with each other because I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, I'll be open and say that uh, I still value her. I still have a lot of feelings for her and stuff like that. But I definitely would not get back together with her. There were a lot of things that I'm glad that I can break myself away from. She went from now. I shouldn't probably be saying this because it's not fair for her. Um, but even she's admitted that she went from being a very easygoing person to a very tight individual.
Toxic.
Very strict, very strict.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm.
Uptight.
so,
Yeah, that's what
um,
happens if you go up. Yeah.
Well,
They're
that's like me and my ex. We haven't talked since actually the day before our divorce was finalized.
Oh.
see,
So
there you go.
he's kind of like fuck off and die, asshole, and I'm kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, whatever. I don't care.
Well,
Go fuck yourself. Have a nice day.
I'm done
really?
here.
So I'm I'm just I offered to be
It's
friends
okay.
with her, but she didn't want it, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm cool with that, whatever, And
Yeah,
then
she,
I was like, fucking A, I'm single again. No more
yeah,
ball and chain.
yeah.
No more nagging. Pity parties.
And
Self
I
pity.
definitely wouldn't have the things that I do without her. Like whenever we were married, she did not appreciate how many pictures I took and trying to do the things that I wanted to. But now
Ah.
that I don't I'm not under her authority. I've been
Sorry.
posting videos.
store.
And she enjoyed them.
Now that you don't have the commandant.
Well, you know,
a boss.
with Romania having a the communist history behind it, I can kind of see how this dictator style mentality that she has developed. It just it's good to
Did she have a picture of Ceausescu on the wall?
no, but her dad did not mind him being in office. He's kind of like a geologist, agriculture engineer.
Uh-huh.
So he did a lot of government work for crops and stuff like that. And he said that the quality of life while he was in full force of his term, that the standard of living wasn't too bad. I think he said that towards the end was when a lot of the famine kind of happened, and the bad reputation started. And but I think that there's a lot more to the story that I don't really understand, and I just kind of listen when it comes to a lot of the political discussions that they had. Even though they can't really speak English, she would translate for me, and I wouldn't really offer any kind of opinion on anything. I listen and try to take it all in. But they did buy me like a 1989 T-shirt, which is when they had their revolution, or supposedly had their revolution. That's still, the jury's still out on that.
Yeah, him and his wife were executed on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
You can watch it on YouTube.
That's true.
Yeah,
You know a lot of history, Bubba.
Yeah, well, I was 22 then. I remember it.
That's why.
So, yeah, back the late 80s, man, the world, and early 90s, the world just, I mean, it was like you could take, like, say, the period from 1987 to 1993. The world just completely did a complete 360-degree turn in that 6-year time span.
What are the things that you during that time?
So many changes. Well, for instance, 1987, you had Reagan in office. You had, everything was still politically, everything was still black and white. You know who the good guys were. You know who the bad guys. You knew who the bad guys were. You did have some Islamic extremism, but not a lot. Nowhere near what it is today. Because in general, the Soviet Union and the U.S. kept that stuff in check. And then all of a sudden, in '88 you had Tiananmen Square. Then in '89 you started having like the Berlin Wall fell, and it was '89 or '90. The Berlin Wall fell. Then the Soviet Union fell almost immediately afterward, either before or afterward. So it was kind of like just in a 3-year time span, things just changed completely.
Oh, that's a lot of changes every year.
And then we had to put up with Clinton.
So the new president.
And George Sr. was bad. He wasn't that great either. He got elected on Reagan's coattails. That's all. Well, that and Dukakis was such an idiot. So, and here's the thing. This is how politics works. Okay, Dukakis he was governor of Massachusetts. They had some kind of amnesty program for criminals or early release or something. Well, they cut loose a guy named Willie Horton, and they cut him loose out of prison early, like super early.
Okay.
And he goes to Maryland, rapes and murders a woman. And, and during the campaign, that's almost all you heard about was Willie Horton. I mean, for what Michael Dukakis did for Willie Horton, he could do for America. So
Interesting.
yeah, so it was November 9th, 1989.
Oh, you know that I
Well, no, somebody posted that in the chat.
Ah, okay.
That's when the Berlin Wall came down.
Dami.
Man, so many global things happen.
We're just
yeah.
like 2 years old that time.
I wasn't even born
Well,
yet.
1993, 1992.
A 1
I
year
guess
old.
maybe there was no official war. Otherwise, that probably would have been declared World War III, or maybe that was the threat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
mean, but it also seemed too that life was just a lot simpler back then. You didn't really have cell phones. You didn't have pagers. You didn't have any of that stuff. So nobody could keep a leash on you,
Mm-hmm.
unlike nowadays.
That's true. We're never free.
Yeah, back when you really had freedom, they couldn't snoop on everything you did.
Ngayon wala nang victim, lahat bantay daw.
Yeah, where? In social media.
Everywhere.
Oh yeah, you can't do anything nowadays without somebody having a camera, getting it on a video on a cell phone.
Yep, I know about Louis' graduation. I know about Ken's adventures.
I don't post a lot of stuff. Only that.
Promotional ones.
Yeah.
So if the people know that I've graduated a certain masteral or a certain discipline in dentistry, probably they will barge in our clinic and try to get appointment.
We take a lot of creative pictures and everything.
And once in a while, some pictures. Because we have tons of pictures in our laptop. But only 1 out of 1,000.
You posted.
Internet. Yeah.
Gets shown.
You only choose the best.
And they had another mass shooting, I guess, in a gun-free zone in America.
Yeah, I heard about
that.
What's happening to the?
Well, it's always in gun-free zones.
Why?
Well, because
so no one can defend.
Yeah, people can't carry guns there, and criminals don't care.
And
then,
what happens to the youth? What's the cause?
I don't know. And BBC did some video urging, we're with you in spirit that, you need stricter gun laws. And which is kind of funny because England has some of the most severe gun laws in the world, but yet London has more murders than New York City.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're having knife turn-ins in London. So
knife turn-ins.
Yeah, so people can't stab you. So what they'll do is they'll stab you. Okay, so I guess that makes people feel better.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm looking from the outside in now because being there, it's really easy to get caught up in a lot of things, and with Trump becoming president, it's almost like a tribal political warfare going on. I don't know. I definitely see the left side kind of losing their critical thinking skills when it comes to maybe their disagreements or arguments of Trump. They don't seem to be focused on policy related issues. They're losing ground in my opinion. I would favor myself being more of the libertarian left instead of the Democratic left, it's tough to kind of see everything happen the way it is. Like, for those like the Antifa group and all that to say that all Trump supporters are racist and stuff. That is the most obtuse statement that I've ever heard. And, you know, I am not a Trump supporter by any means. And I would never say that about any of those that support him, because, you know, during his campaign, he mentioned a lot of protectionist, populist style rhetoric, and a lot of those things I kind of agreed with.
Yeah, he was pretty much America first.
Yeah. But because he's such a controversial figure, you know, people couldn't get past what he was standing for, but therefore I can see how they voted for him, because, you know, it's not like the options were very competitive. I mean, I forget. I with the whole 50 people that ran for the Republican ticket, I completely forgot who the next best one was. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think, you know, like you, that's another reason too why I wanted to get out of the U.S. You know, I got divorced, and then Obamacare passed, and I was just like, you know, seeing the way things are going, and I'm like, man, this country's going to shit. I got to get out of here.
Trying to run away.
So, yeah, because I'm definitely more of a libertarian. I would say I'd probably lean more towards the right, I guess.
Right.
A right-leaning libertarian, but, you know, I'm pro-life, but, you know, if somebody wants to get an abortion, I don't think somebody else should have to pay for their bad decision making. That's the one thing that pisses me off more than anything else. Is it seems in America now, somebody else has to pay for 1 or 2% bad decisions, and it's crap. It's like no accountability. It's like they're all over Trump now because he said MS-13 was a bunch of animals. And they are. They're scum of the earth, you know. And but then the Democrats rush to defend them. And I'm like, you're going to defend common street thugs who would rob you and murder you in a heartbeat if they had the opportunity and thought they could get away with it.
Yeah, MS-13 is not the same status as the Dreamers.
Yeah.
And they're treating them the same way, in my opinion, from what I've noticed. I mean, like I said, I've only seen bits and pieces, but they're definitely defending MS-13 like they're Dreamers, and I think it's very clear that they need to make that distinction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like what DRB 166 said. Trump is only controversial because he doesn't speak diplomatically. Otherwise, no bullshit like the rest of the freaking politicians. That's very true. Trump like is not a polished speaker. He just calls them like he sees them, and people like that.
Yeah, you know, I don't think there's any problem with calling things the way they are. You know, being very bold or straight up about one's view. But I think that there definitely should be like a standard of not a standard of speech, because it sounds too controlled. But you know, my question is what kind of person is going to be elected after Trump? Because you know, everybody was tired of the same political answers, you know, of not really giving not answering it directly. But I think that, you know, for a presidential ticket, you know, they need to have some form of respect on a national stage. Now, I understand that, you know, he came from a different crowd, you know, being in Hollywood and stuff like that, where, you know, it's easy to be a certain way. But now that he's kind of stepping into public service, maybe it could be beneficial for him to maybe change some of the words that he used. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of too subjective on my part. You know, maybe like during his campaign, whenever he was calling Roseanne, was it Rosie O'Donnell, names and stuff like that, I'm just like, I'm like, come on, man. And then during the election, they were talking about how size his penis was. I'm like, dude, come on. This does not need to be discussed during a debate.
Well, yeah, Marco Rubio said something about little hands, or was it something about he had little? I don't know, but yeah, it was stupid. It was really stupid.
Sorry for that, ladies, but this is just kind of a little glimpse into how crazy things have gotten in the States.
Mm-hmm. Trying to listen and understand.
Well, I guess, but I guess in some ways, it's also relevant because from my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, but Duterte is not as the same politicians as the Aquino era or maybe some of the past. And I know that I was there while he was or during the election and during the campaign. I remember how a lot of people had issue with some of the comments that maybe he had made in the past or something like that. And I think that him and Trump kind of share similarities in that regard. But I can't say that the same substance was spoken during presidential debates or anything like that. I can at least say that Duterte seems a lot smarter than Trump. I mean, a lot smarter.
Because our president, Duterte is a lawyer. So
yeah, see, Trump wasn't a lawyer. Trump was a businessman, real estate mostly, but but an extremely successful businessman.
I only knew Trump on the TV show The Apprentice and during Miss Universe. But I didn't know that he will run for presidency. So I'm surprised.
My issue with Trump.
Do we lose him?
I'm not sure.
I heard my issue with Trump and then nothing. I think the NSA is monitoring the call.
Her boss. His boss.
His boss is monitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like he lost his monitor.
Baba.
Yes. Ladies. So Louie, when are you gonna get your cooking channel going?
It was really interesting, huh?
Sorry.
Yeah. When are you gonna get your cooking channel going there, Louie?
Because
this weekend.
We don't have a good kitchen here, but probably when we go to our house in Cavite.
Okay. This weekend, Baba. She's not specific, but this weekend. She's gonna. I'm not sure if we're gonna shoot videos or something like that.
VPN dropped.
We will have something creative.
Sorry, guys, my VPN dropped.
Oh, that's okay,
we
man.
thought
no problem.
You were blocked.
Did you say something that Kim didn't like or something?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I might have said the wrong thing. I apologize.
That's funny. Well, shoot. Anybody got anything to add? I guess we should probably wrap it up. Wow, we've been on about 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Good show, though. It went very quick.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Ken and Louie, it's such a nice time to speak with you. I've paid attention to you two for a while, and I think you're doing a great thing on here. And I think the conversations that you two have had have been very enlightening. And I looking forward to
think like that.
Thank you too. We had a great time.
But it's more of a random banter than anything else.
Now, are you planning on doing a regular show on a regular basis, Justin?
No, so the reason, well, I say no, but the reason that I did have that live stream was because I've gotten to know a few more people on YouTube, and they're like, "Oh, you should do live stream. You should do it, do it, do it, do it." And I did an aloe to winter technique. It's like, okay, um, let's leave this up for the chat. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Which aloe, you are awesome. I'm really adopting your techniques.
Wow.
And a lot of people say, a lot of people typed in 1 for yes. So that's when I decided to do it. And I'm not a type of person to do any kind of live streams like that. I can't carry on a conversation by myself, or I have a hard time kind of doing it with you all.
Well, that's why you have co-host.
Right.
But
But
now
it's fun
you're
regardless.
ours. Yeah.
I would
we
like
want
to
to
come
thank
back.
you for being on our show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time and all your good comments. They are very
We
knowledgeable.
appreciated it.
Yeah.
Even though today we just listened.
Justin, you should do a live stream with one of your co-teachers. One of the
Probably
Chinese,
me
one
as
of the
the
Chinese
best.
ones.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I'll have to befriend them a little bit more before I can gain their confidence.
Yeah.
I've shown them some of the videos that I've made, and they're very awestruck, I guess, because they're not used to putting together any kind of vlogs or anything like that. So whenever they see, this microphone right here and my laptop that I carry with me and stuff like that, it's a bit different than what they're used to. I think that they would be very, very shy. So maybe one day in the
What
future.
kind of laptop you have?
I am operating off of an HP 360 Spectre. So this has 16 gigs of RAM, 8th generation processor, and something else. It's especially made for like mid-range editing. And this was one of the purchases that I made before moving here, because I knew that I wasn't going to have the same options that I would back in the States. So, and the touchscreen TVs that they have in our classes, they're running a little slow. So whenever I pop my USB drive to sing songs, there is a lag. So I take my, I don't have it with me. I had this Bose Revolve SoundLink. It's just a small speaker, but the amount of sound that comes out of it, the bass is just, it is amazing. So I carry my little equipment with me throughout class, and that's probably my favorite part of the day, is playing off of my equipment in class. I'm like,
Yeah, I just got an Apple MacBook Air that I bought at Best Buy before I came here.
that's it, man.
I love it. I want to get a MacBook Pro though. That'll be my next one.
Well, one thing that I do appreciate is the Philippines has a lot more options than China, or maybe where I'm at right now. I can appreciate going to some of the tech stores in Manila and having good options to choose from, good selections. So that's one thing that I do miss in a way.
Yeah. From where you're at, you'd have to go to either. Yeah, screw South Korea. You'd have to go to either Japan or Hong Kong.
That's true. Hong Kong would probably be the easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's hard to fly to Tokyo from China or well, I imagine from Mongolia it's hard to fly to anywhere except for Beijing or maybe Moscow.
Yeah, I would have to get a train ride to Beijing before I fly anywhere, because I think the domestic flights aren't really too accommodating. It's not the easiest to travel around here, but
yeah, a lot of
that's
people ride
neither here nor
trains. Wonder if you been on one of those bullet trains?
I did ride on one in Japan. it's kind of funny. They have the JR rail, and there's a certain ticket that foreigners can buy that locals can't. And it's a really nice ride. Like it goes pretty fast, and it's very comfortable. Like I said, it's very leisurely. And I call it the Japanese Alps. I've heard this term before too, so I don't know if it's the official term or if it's just more of a slang term. But riding through the mountainous regions is nice scenery, especially when you're drinking sake.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I'd like to go to Japan, but we should probably get wrapped up. I know the ladies have to go to work tomorrow, and I have to get up and work. I have to get up and work too. I have to start work at 5 p.m. So,
same here. Same here.
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Yeah,
oh, 5 p.m.
Yeah, boy, life sure is
Wow.
5 a.m. for me.
Oh God, that's
really?
horrible.
Well, that's what time I wake up. I'm scheduled at 7:30 at class.
Okay.
So.
And what time you done?
6.
Damn, that's
6
p.m.
But yeah,
really.
But we get like a 2.5 hour lunch break.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Then you can go to your room and take a nap.
Yeah,
that's what we always do. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. Hey, thanks for coming on, though, Justin. Any final thoughts you'd like to add, bro?
No, other than once again, I really appreciate it, and I feel bad for not being in the chat within the past couple of weeks because I've just been so tired of school and everything. But I really enjoy it. Ladies, you're doing a wonderful job, and you have a nice personality that really complements Bubba. So I really enjoy listening to it.
So you have a good.
So what's Baba's personality?
Well, he's definitely easygoing. He makes everything very comfortable, and I can feel the authenticity with you two. So that's one of the most important things is if you're not real, then people will sense it.
Yeah, I'm definitely pretty easygoing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. As we
also appreciate.
We also appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yeah, it was great, man. We really appreciate you coming on, and I'm sorry it was kind of a spur of the moment thing.
No worries, no worries.
So I just saw you on. I'm thinking, man, why don't we have him on?
Yeah.
So
we're glad that you gave us your 2 hours. It's more than 2 hours right now.
I need to start preparing myself for later nights on Mondays. That's for sure.
Not a problem, man. We always enjoy having you. And we also nice too. Aloe's here tonight. Dave was in earlier. Popeye was on. Nomad. And what's his name?
The RBB.
Says Styles. He was real busy tonight, so he messaged me and said, "Man, I ain't gonna make it on tonight, but I'll listen later." So
yeah, I like Says. He's one. He's a good one to emulate after. If I could be the next Says Styles, man, I've really accomplished something in life.
We also have random strangers. Well, you already have.
So you need to talk all day to become Says. That's what he said.
He talks all day.
The only thing that I do is I talk and talk.
Yeah. Well, I think the more that I conduct lessons, the more well spoken I'll become, and then
and the more confident you'll become too.
Right, and I'll be right up there to his status.
There you go.
All right.
You could be
Thank you.
a YouTube god.
Yeah.
Don't forget us when you're already famous.
No, I think it's going to be a support along the way. I would never lose track of how could I say how I've become active in this YouTube community.
Okay.
I love your videos, dude. That was that last one was great. Showed you like I guess you were kind of like waking up and you just like took your hand and put it over, and then next thing you know, you're making coffee, and then you're going out and about. That was kind of cool. I like that. It was kind of like had like a spontaneous feel to it.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna watch.
appreciate it.
You like Walmart?
No, I don't. But since they carry a lot of Western items, you know, that's kind of one of my only options to not only option, but that's just the easiest option.
Now,
I'm sure that there's a lot more selections.
how much did you spend in USD for those items, if you don't mind me asking?
I roughly spend about from 200 to 500 RMB. That's my usual grocery bill.
You
So
got the beers, a nice little selection of beers.
yeah, that actually that's one of the main reasons why I do go to Walmart is because you really can't find good beer
500.
anywhere.
I mean, for groceries.
Really? What would last for 1 month? 1 week?
What 1 week, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
500.
I know I spend a lot.
But he doesn't have
some
to pay rent either.
that's
He
true. Yeah, no, I don't have any bills.
Yeah, so
And
that's fine.
yeah.
You only have
Yeah.
Wine, women, and song.
Mhm.
Spends his money on wine, women, and song.
wine.
Wine, men, and songs.
Wait, in your case, not in his.
Yeah.
For us, wine, work, and songs.
But anyway, I wanted to ask you on the heading, do you want me to put your real name or you want me to put Gypsy Jaywalk or and you want to
You
give
can put
your
whatever
channel
you like, man.
and you can give your channel a plug too.
Mm.
You have complete freedom to do whatever you like. No worries. I just really appreciate being here because you know, I'm starting to enjoy this live chat, and being able to be in the presence of you and the ladies is more than what I could ask for. So
Plus, you get to interact with
I appreciate
fellow
it.
Americans, with fellow English speakers.
Yeah, we can understand each other's slang, you know, and not have to.
Definitely,
Yep,
you get the sarcasm.
absolutely.
So, well, anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. You ladies got any final thoughts?
Nothing. Thank you very much again.
Yeah, I had a great time. And
I had a great time as well.
again,
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
We're gonna tune into your shows if you have any plans.
Subscribe to his channel, ladies.
Yeah.
And actually, Justin, if you want, go ahead and I think you're on our page, aren't you, Bubba and Phil?
I am.
Go ahead and post the link to your channel on our page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem, man. Anytime. I enjoy your stuff, man. You're a good guy. Plus, you're from the South too.
That's correct. We do have the Southern hospitality at our belts.
You do. God, guns, and rock and roll. Anyway, everybody take care, and thanks for tuning in. And we will do this again next Monday at 10 p.m. What we will talk about, who knows? Go ahead.